Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Saturday. Welcome all to Adventures in Middle-earth. It is day 44 of Adventures in Middle-earth, Erebor Adventures, Sleeping Dragons Lie. Finally, we have returned to this campaign after several months off. Not something that we wanted, but it was just a matter of time and circumstances and real life and all that kind of stuff that gets in the way of our fun, that gets in the way of our fun. But we are back today, and we are ready to continue the adventure. I am very excited to bring you again some more Erebor adventures with this amazing crew. Just before we get started, a couple of very quick reminders. We're trying to speed up our intros here and get into the show proper faster, so we're going to do this really quickly. To help the channel, there's a couple of things you can do. Follow the channel, please. Check out the YouTube at !ArvTube and sub to me over there. !ArvCord is the Discord channel. Please hang out with us over there in between streams. And !ArvTweets is my Twitter. Please follow me over there because there you can do all kinds of cool things, including you can watch as I post about various things, but stuff especially relating to the channel, my writing, and other things of a related Arv nature. And all of that website, arvaneleron.com. Financially, !Arv Shop is the merchandise area which supports the channel. !Arv Treon also supports the channel, and you can get some cool swag for yourself, so that is always worth it. And of course, subbing to the channel is always appreciated as well. You can sub to the channel and get those custom sub badges and emotes and all of those things to use here, there, and everywhere across Twitch as well. Publishing-wise, Icarus for my Icarus graphic novel from Athos Arts, Library for Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library, my 5e Adventure and Sourcebook from Alligator Alley Entertainment, and Greyshade for my Greyshade novel from Athos Arts, and also to pre-order my sequels to that novel, Renegade, which will come out next year, Heretic the year after that, tabletop role-playing game by Brandon O'Brien will be coming out next year, and the audiobook of Greyshade being done by our very own Trent Sparks. That also will be available once you have pre-ordered it. You'll be able to get a copy of that when it is released. And last but certainly not least on that score, last but certainly not least as far as the opening is concerned, BLM, Black Lives Matter, very important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Very important to reach out to others when you need help and to reach out to others when they need help as well. And of course, Ukraine, Ukraine, to help the fine people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war. They are doing so bravely and with courage, but they still need help and assistance. And of course, what they are doing is symbolic of a fight that many across the world are doing in fighting back against oppression and for the right to self-determination and so on. So this is a way that we can do our part. Schedule-wise, just a couple of quick notes. 1 second here as I type a quick message. Okay, so just a couple of quick notes schedule-wise. This is going to be going on here until about 5 to 5:15 p.m. Eastern. Then we'll be off air for about 2 hours, and then we'll be back tonight at about 7:30 p.m. Eastern for the continuation of Eberron, Oracle of War, as we continue with Song of the Sky. We're moving into the end of Season 2. Thank you so much, anonymous user, for gifting a Tier 1 sub to Rudna, a 6-month gift. Wow, an anonymous gifter is given 6 months of sub to a Rudinel. Thank you to whoever the anonymous person is who did that. It's very kind of you. Thank you, thank you. And welcome back, Rudinel, to that. That's really awesome. Thank you, everybody, so much. I appreciate it. Thank you as well to Tari and to Tren, who subbed earlier today. I very much appreciate that as well. So that's going on this evening. Then we'll be off Sunday, and then on Monday, I'll be back Monday evening for the super exciting and awesome Halloween stream, which is going to involve 2 readings of Edgar Allan Poe work. One, Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, and the other one is the short story. Haven't figured out which one I'm going to do yet. I'll decide that tomorrow about which is the other short story I'm going to read from Edgar Allan Poe, but I always love that. And then we're going to be moving into November. I hope we're going to have a really good big channel month, and I've got some new things and ideas that I'm thinking about and playing around with in terms of stuff going forward with the channel. So I'll be talking a little bit about that. I actually have some stuff that I'm planning for the new year that I'm excited to have all of you folks find out about. So anyway, I'm looking forward to more of that. So that's what we've got going on, but let's see. Oh, okay, I see. One of the things that I'm doing right now is I am figuring something out. Yes, okay, there we go. So we have a new and exciting thing, chat, which I have just gotten relating to our stream today. And thanks to our incredibly talented artist, I don't know if you heard this, but there is a rumor that we may, in fact, have a talented artist who may be involved with this campaign. That may indeed be the rumor. Okay, there we go. That takes care of that. Yes, that is indeed better. Wonderful. Okay, so now that that is all arranged and fixed, I am now going to unmute myself, let the folks know we're ready to go, apologize for interrupting them as I may potentially have done, and then I'm going to unmute them, and last but certainly not least, I'm going to reveal, dun dun dun, whoops, okay, that went right in front. Okay, that was a little more dramatic than I wanted. I don't know why that's there. Hold on just a second.
It's okay, you're going to have to recapture the cameras anyway. So.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Oh, really? Was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
because restarting her.
Because of restarting things.
Okay. I can do this, and it'll be a little bit easier.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, oh, here she comes.
Okay, now we're getting them all back. That's fine. We can make those quick adjustments for a moment. Mal has
already had them all back.
Yeah, that's true. I see what you did there.
Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Now I see now I see the violence inherent in the system. All right, hold on a second. This is what happens when we have things. Okay, so Amal is definitely the river, and Tari is definitely Inga, and Brad is definitely Brad is definitely Bolo. Okay, now we have everybody exactly where
we should do a Halloween show where we dress up as each other, and then you can change the names and stuff.
Yes, that sounds really exciting and also nightmarish. Like I would, like I don't have hard enough time capturing everything today. Okay. There we go.
I tell you, I think I might have mentioned on this before a podcast called Rude Tales of Magic, and in one of the episodes, shenanigans ensue, and the players all get handed each other's player sheets. And
I was just thinking we could play each other's characters too.
Exactly, like magic, body swaps. Oh no, and we have to like play in each other's bodies essentially. So yeah.
That would be incredibly, like I mean, it's you've done a little bit of Jaegering each other's characters on occasion, so that has happened in the past. But okay, now I have everybody captured properly. Let me just say this, in case anyone was curious about what I was talking about relating to this picture. What you see right here, chat, is the brand new crew picture, which has been done by our very own Tari. Yes, I know it's not completely new.
It's like several years old now. I just added Freaky.
You just remembered. Right, but you can see Freaky has been added behind the crew. So and I like the fact too that the picture itself, because of Freaky, no doubt, has this little bit of a darker tone, which seems to fit the fact that we were traveling through the Blighted Lands. So yes. that seems quite appropriate, I think, for everything. But yes, Tari has done that. Tari also did a token for Freaky, and I'll show that off when we actually get over to the other map. But let me start by welcoming the crew back. It's been a while, as we just said, but it's good to have everyone back, and I will start with the gentleman at the top left of this 4-square collection, and that, of course, is our good friend Tren, whose computer works completely well and all that kind of good stuff. Tren, how you doing? How's life with you, and who are you playing in our adventure today?
Well, since last we spoke, all of us completely killed everything. And we are now basically
divvying up the horde.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. Now you're just looting. No, that's none of what you said is accurate, but that's
how would you know? You weren't there.
I wasn't there, yeah.
I'm all right. Just, trying to obviously I've got my desk in the standing position because the aforementioned computer problems required that I enlist my housemate for help, and whenever he has to come in here and help me, the desk is usually down in its seated position, and anytime I tell him, would you like to sit down while you wait, he's like, no. So he's constantly leaning over my desk, and I just feel horribly guilty about it. So this morning I was like, I've got it. And so I brought the desk up into the standing position so he can't lean over it. And now I don't have to feel guilty. Then he had to start crawling underneath it and trying to get to my computer.
Then you felt guilty for a whole other reason. I know the experience of feeling guilt constantly for all sorts of reasons. So I'm with you right there.
The batteries in my flashlight are dying, and I'm playing Thane Tony Bear, the Hearthmender dwarf friend. I'm amazed I got through that in one shot without having practiced it for months beforehand.
See, it's all like riding a
Um,
bike, right? You get right back on.
No, that's really, that's not really true because I tried riding a bike again like maybe a year ago after not having been on one that wasn't like a stationary bike. And man, I've forgotten how to keep my balance on those things. It's just anyway, yeah, so he's basically what in this universe is a scholar, and he is a very decent healer. I mean, he's all right. He's okay.
He's not bad. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he's not bad.
He just looks at people. The whole party is just like, we feel 12 years younger. Like, yeah. His healing is pretty epic at this point. But that is not to be. It's not to be. I'm not surprised at that because we are talking about heroes of Dale and characters that are level 9. That's right, level 9.
29.
No, not 29, but level 9. So they are
9.
they are powerful heroes. But it's good to have Trinidus as always. It's also good to have that person you just heard speaking accurately in German. I can't imagine why. And that is Tari.
Occasionally do that.
Tari Tunes is back with us. And Tari, it's really good to see you because it's been an extra month or two since we've seen you. So how's how you doing? How's everything going?
Yeah.
And who are you playing today? And thank you for the updated crew pick too, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's no problem. Honestly, like I mentioned earlier in the green room, that I did that ages ago and I just forgot to send, as you do. So yeah, like I'm doing still the same as before, but at this point I'm like, yeah, okay, well, it's been a while and I kind of miss playing, so. Screw that. Wow, suddenly giant bird on screen.
Yes.
And so yeah, I'm back.
Yay.
So, yeah. Working on myself and stuff. Been doing a little bit of traveling. Went to France and Belgium for summer, like for a few weeks. That's very nice. Went to see Mont Saint-Michel, which is so beautiful. Oh my god. Such a beautiful place. So like everybody has seen pictures of that place, but he can never remember the name of that place, so you guys don't know what I'm talking about. But it's basically this monastery built on a rock in the North Sea in the Normandy. Well, half Normandy, half Brittany. So it's like for those of you who have seen the movie The Green Knight that came out like last year or the year before, that one was partially filmed there. And like if you like see King Arthur's castle,
okay,
like, they used Mont Saint-Michel as that, for example. It's like used for all sorts of movie backdrops because it's just so, looking like straight out of a fairy tale, basically. It really does. Really, really does. So that was really nice. So yeah, also been to Bruges. Well, I've already been there once, but what's Bruges? As we call it.
Yep.
And the people who live there. But yeah, also a movie about that one called In Bruges. Good movie, can recommend. So yeah, that was really nice and healthy because I've been doing a lot of hiking, and since I got back, I've been working out 3 times a week, which has been helping in a way. I'm also sore all the time, but that's
well, collective things. And who are you playing today, Tara?
Lifting. I'm playing a little dude, a little dwarf dude. Her name is Thane Inge Homefinder, daughter of Ida. Council of Dine II, who is a Wanderer, which is like basically the equivalent of the Ranger from D&D in this. In these rules.
Yep.
Not to be confused with like the type of Ranger that Aragorn is.
Yep.
Because that is like a specific group of people. So, but yeah, she is like a wayfinder, basically, and like also her day job is actually being a mason, and also she has since become a clan chief, and as her title suggests, a Thane. There's my German showing, not being able to pronounce the TH properly. So
She's come a long way, Inga has.
Oh yeah, on those short stubby legs. Oh yeah, she's also from the Erebor, I should mention.
Very important.
And she has two, not one but two sidekicks. Woohoo! One of them being, of course, the most important, the most valuable pony, the MVP, Lilleman. And since not too long ago, she also has gotten a Raven sidekick, whose name is Freki. So, yeah.
Yep, and I think if this party,
that's me and my pets.
We're gonna have to bring the arc of Erebor Adventures overall to a close before you acquire any more animals, because like we're not gonna be able to fit that many more people into that picture. Like just behind, there's gonna be like a Mumakai, right? Like and all this stuff, like massive elephant creatures and stuff behind you. But it'll be good times. That's the advanced campaign where you're just like, today we have 3 war elephants. Anyway,
Tawny's got his bees and his sheep. He just didn't bring them.
That's true. He hasn't started naming his bees individually. I may put my foot down on that. And this one is Bob, and this one is Bill, and this one is Beatrice. And anyway, but it is very good to have Tari back with us. Good to see you, Tari. And moving right along, I'm going to move down to the left side again on the bottom row, and that, of course, is Brad. Brad Bollier is back with us as well. Good to see you, Brad. How is life and everything with you, and who are you playing today?
Life is pretty good. I was mentioning in the green room too, we got a new EV, so I'm all excited about that. It's new to me vehicle, not a new vehicle, but it's fun to be a 2 EV household at this point.
Yep.
And Tara was mentioning Mont Saint Michel. It just reminded me of, and I don't know the 100% accuracy of this, but Roger Zelazny is one of my favorite authors, and I believe he was influenced partially by Mont Saint Michel, and the Amber itself is a city which hosts a family of princes and princesses who vie for power after, I think, the father of the king, Oberon, disappears, presumed dead initially. And I remember this like battle that like, and I haven't been to Mont Saint Michel myself, so you can tell me, Tari. I think there's like this kind of winding road that kind of goes up the.
Oh, there's several. Like this entire place is a maze.
But does it? But does one like kind of wind up to the top, sort of thing?
No, not in a spiral fashion. It was zigzaggy all over the place.
Oh, okay.
Also, well, like some of the pathways were like shut off because of like construction work and whatever. But like maybe there is like one path that like properly spirals, but I haven't seen it.
There's a big climactic battle in the series that still strikes me after not having read it for a couple of decades at this point. That was supposed to be influenced by that, so it's just a neat connection to fantasy. I'm playing.
You're thinking of St. Michael's Mount, because there's Mont Saint Michel in France, but there's St. Michael's Mount in Cornwall, and it's a tidal island.
Oh, this is actually interesting. So there's a so-called Sword of St. Michael, which is like basically has like the pommel at I think Jerusalem. Don't quote me. But like it basically shapes like on a map a sword shape, which is like all different kind of monasteries and other types of holy sites, all dedicated to Saint Michael.
Oh,
so
interesting.
And Mont Saint Michel is one of them. So
yeah,
that's a thing. And the one in Cornwall also. That's I think the tip of the sword. The one in Cornwall.
The thing that I like about the one in Cornwall is that it's a tidal island, so when the tide is out, you can walk out towards it on this causeway, but when the tide is in, you cannot.
Right.
Same in Mont Saint Michel, actually. Well, they have a bridge now, but like it used to be that you could only walk there during low tide.
Are you sure this isn't some disputed area between France and England that somehow both areas like are connected to, but none of them admit it? Because you're literally like Mont Saint Michel or St. Michael's Mount. I'm like, so the English version of Mont Saint Michel is what you just said. Like, are we sure these are different?
Well, I think place was actually taken by the English in various wars, but
shocking. I can't imagine them went back and forth. Anyway, sorry, Brad. You were.
It's also like the same bay where like Guernsey and Jersey are.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
You can see, like on a clear day, you can see Jersey from Mont Saint Michel. So
Yeah.
closest I've ever gotten to seeing the UK. So
We're not just about games here. We're about a lot of things.
No, I know, and these
Geography,
folks have done
history.
it. Yeah, I know. It's
Come
absolutely
for the game, stay for the history lesson.
Stay for the history lesson and the architectural knowledge.
I could go rattling off about heraldry again, but
That too.
I shall not.
So yeah, I'm playing Bolobras Tuk, who is a weather-worn, battle-tested hobbit at this point. He is no longer bright-eyed as he used to be, and he comes complete with cast iron pan and sling, and he's excited to use both in this adventure.
Yes, and Flank Seer, of course, may see more action in the times ahead. But always a pleasure to have. Go ahead, Red. You were going to say?
Well, in tandem with Tren.
Yes. No. Exactly. Yeah. The combos are incredible. But it is good to see you, Brad, and it's also good, last but not least, to see Amal with us. Amal, it's good to see you. I know there's been a lot that's happened with you over the last couple of months in terms of life changes and the like. How are you doing? Whatever you feel comfortable mentioning or not. And then who are you playing today?
I'm doing okay. For God, I can't even remember what the last thing I said here was. It was a while ago. I quit my job. Hey, I am no longer teaching at the University of Ottawa. I am instead working in in a different industry. I haven't actually said this on my newsletter yet, so I would feel weird announcing it here. But I'm working in a different industry, but as a writer in a different industry. So that is, I think that's all I'll say for now, but it is very, very full on. And it does mean that I am keeping strange hours slightly, in that the company that I work for is in a different time zone. So my core work hours are from 12 to 6 p.m. And that's great, actually, because it means that I get my mornings to write in, and that's lovely. But it does also mean that for the last several weeks, my days have been wake up at 7-ish, have a very lovely walk, do some yoga, write for a couple of hours, then start day job, then end day job, then need to do round 2 of writing and or reading for column stuff, go to sleep at 10, and then start over again. And it's great. It is really good, but it is also exhausting. And usually by the end of the day, my brain feels like a wind tunnel. But it has honestly been so good. I do not for a second I'm not gonna let too many of my feelings on here. I just it was a necessary change, and I'm very, very glad of it. And I really like my coworkers. They're really cool. And maybe I'll say more eventually.
She works in a fish cannery.
You weren't supposed to talk about that.
My coworkers are little fish, and they talk to me before I eat them.
Wow.
So, yeah.
You're not supposed to eat them when you're supposed to can them.
It's the darkest timeline.
You're gonna lose this job.
It's quality assurance.
Don't tell
she
anybody.
writes their stories before they pass on.
Yeah.
To the
That's right.
next life.
I hold them up to my ear, and they whisper little fish stories.
Yeah, that's the writing bit.
Let me go and I will teach you a story 3. Great, I'll do that. So when not killing innocent fish at your new job, which is clearly what
They're
that
not
is,
innocent.
We only kill guilty fish.
You only
at
kill
my job.
only the guilty and the intentional. How are you? Who are you playing today, Amel?
I am playing a character named the River, who is Thane River, music wielder, and River. Yeah, we're all Thanes now. Oh wait, is Bolo?
I mean-
Well, aside from Bolo.
Okay.
And stone is not a Thane. Let's be clear.
time will come.
We have Thane stone.
Thane by proxy.
Thane
Anyway,
Lilleman, Thane Freaky.
Thane Lilliman. I don't know that Freaky's been to be long enough to be a
Property.
Thane. Listen, they don't just hand out Thane like candy, okay? It's not Halloween for Thanes. I mean, like, let's be clear.
Oh, just
So-
everybody
so-
else, huh?
River is a warden, which sort of equates to a fighty bard. She dual wields axes and also is and also sings. But yeah, she has a faithful hound of Mirkwood named Stone, and has recently acquired an orc pal. That's how I'm choosing to interpret this.
Okay.
Yes. Now, this is the part where we get to explain things that I was told at the time by the players. Were like, it's going to be fun to see how Inga reacts to this. Or I can't wait to see how Inga feels about this. Or I wonder what
I'm gonna
Inga-
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Inga
So-
has been staring into a lot of fires for
Yeah.
a long time, possibly contemplating throwing her teammates into said fires. I don't know. It all will be revealed now that Tari is back.
Now that Tari is back. Let's talk about what happened
Yes.
in
So how
our
many
last
sessions
session.
did I miss, by the way?
4?
Yeah, maybe 4-ish, I would say.
4? Oh God.
Might have been 3 or 4, yeah. So let me just make sure I got my music going here. Okay, I think I do. Yeah. There we go, good. Okay. So let's
Oh,
explain a little bit about what happened. Of course, oh wait. Darn it, the webcams got changed here too, and I forgot. All right, give me 1 second. These people
While
are
you're
not
doing
in-
that, I will make one final announcement, and that was I recently used my weapon of choice.
What do you? Oh yes, the vote.
Same here.
Yes. Good stuff. We have not had our time has not yet come, but it will soon. Okay, there we go. Everyone is back where they should be. Wonderful, excellent.
Oh
Okay.
man! Well, while things are happening, I totally didn't say, but my beloved husband is now a Canadian citizen.
Oh,
Nice.
congratulations to Sue. That's great.
As of
Excellent.
like 2 weeks ago, just about, and as a consequence, he was able to vote in our municipal election that happened last week. Sadly, as with many municipal elections, turnout was dismal and pathetic, and the outcome was not what we would have wished. But nevertheless, we did our civic duty, and one of us is a new Canadian, which is exciting to me.
Oh,
So,
that's awesome. Congratulations to Stu. That's great.
thank you.
So, is
So
he like now dual citizenship or
Yes,
just
yes.
like completely Canadian?
No, doodle citizen.
so he now likes hockey with a Scottish accent.
Doodle
that's
citizen.
that's the real, let's-
Don't tease.
I think the vector of his Canadianness has actually been
No,
more
that-
maple syrup and beaver tails. But yeah.
Yeah, they just now put some maple syrup on the haggis. Yes.
That's just, I mean, yeah. Let's cross on from that. It is Halloween. Time for horrible images.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about what happened in our last session. I'm going to extend this recap slightly. I'm not time-wise, hopefully, but just to kind of big picture it a little bit because Tari hasn't been here. So Tari, of course, will remember that Inga and the rest of the group was crossing over the lands towards Zarakanbar in an effort to kill the dragon Rayanor, who continues to be a thorn in the side of the Free Peoples and has become increasingly ambitious and thus increasingly dangerous. And so you were crossing the wasteland essentially to be able to do that. You had several encounters along the way. There was the encounter at the hall where the dwarves attempted to betray, the dwarven mercenaries attempted to betray you, but you managed to defeat them. Left that place kind of burning, nice stealth work as you move gradually towards it, massive like bonfire in the sky. Classic work, I think, from this crew. But no, and made your way along all the way until now. You were just about to head into these lands as you head towards Zarakanbar. But along the way, you met a creature in the wild. First of all, there was another encounter, and I don't know if you were here for this, Tari, but there was another encounter with Witherfinger, the possibly Entwife, but if not, at least some tree-ish type creature that speaks kind of very mysteriously and looks very much like a tree, but an ancient one. And is any of this ringing a bell at all? No.
It was right after the.
Yeah, I
like,
don't remember if I was.
It was
I
after the
remember
moving
hearing
boulders.
something about that.
Okay. So after that,
That is dying
there was an
again.
encounter with a strange creature, which I'm going to put on the stream right now. And it is this creature, the burned,
Oh, so handsome.
the burned orc. This creature, who calls himself Ukgash, came and basically had originally appeared in a vision, I believe, to the river, if I'm not mistaken. Had appeared in a vision while they were hanging out with Witherfinger. And Ukgash is basically an orc that fell afoul of his tribe, and specifically fell afoul of the dragon Rayanor, which was attempting to bring the orcish tribes to heel. Ukgash did not agree, basically tried to resist, and what you see of his picture is the result of what happens when you challenge a dragon, basically. He did, through his cunning and strength, manage to escape, and has now wandered looking for vengeance against the one who has taken over his tribe, and also against the dragon itself. And so the party, after a great deal of discussion and back and forth, and in part after an episode in which several members of the party were entranced and brought into this cursed lake, and it was Ukgash who actually saved one of them from that cursed lake, the party decided to ally with Ukgash, at least temporarily. This is the part where everyone is like, I wonder how Inga's going to react to this. But the thing that is to be made clear about this is that
Don't they
Ukgash...
have like a feed that like said old hatred of the orcs or something? Let me double.
It wouldn't.
check.
It would
I
not
think I
surprise
know
me.
one.
The thing about Ukgash is
Yeah.
that Ukgash is, you would not describe Ukgash as friendly or kind or gentle or sweet or anything. This is an orc's orc.
Grumpy.
He is grumpy all the time. But there has been, I think it's fair to say, a grudging respect that is built up between certainly Tani and the river and Ukgash, maybe Bolo as well, I don't know. But Tani and the river for sure, a certain grudging respect about the fact that Ukgash knows what he wants, and it essentially has this view that he needs to do what he needs to do to get his tribe back, and that clearly his enemy is the dragon, even if in other contexts the party might be his enemy as well. And so Ukgash and the rest of the party have made their way across the landscape, dealing with corruption checks and all that stuff. And don't worry, party, you're going to get a few of those coming up here in just a moment.
Oh, thank
I know
goodness.
I know you were
Very
hoping
free.
for it.
Yeah.
And you made your way all the way until you arrived at, let me see if I've got... Thank you, Red Lear. Housekeeping. Thank you for the 47-month sub. I appreciate it, man. Almost 4 years at tier 2. Thank you, Red Lear. It's good to see you, man. I hope all's well. I hope all's well with the it's, I can't say new arrival anymore. I think yours is like 10 months
You
now
still
or something.
can.
but,
It just, wrong.
Still new, well, newish, newer, That new car smell is now off of your baby is basically what I'm saying. I don't know. Anyway, thank you. I came to inspire all the things.
Babies who smell like new cars.
Good to see you, Red Lear.
We don't know what Canadians wash their babies in. It's just weird.
Hey, Canadians! Hooray.
That's right.
Wake up, babe! New Canadian stereotype just dropped.
So Ukgash and the rest of the crew has made their way across to the land now closing in on the watchtower. And towards the end of our last session, the river was on watch and came up, having heard noises and somewhat in the distance, came up and was drawn down by Ukgash, that handsome fellow that you see on the screen, but was pulled down before she could reveal, herself, or at least hoped so. But it was clear that clearly some orc sentries had caught sight of her and was hurrying in the other direction towards Arakanbar, presumably to warn their superiors / the dragon. And so as we start things today, the party is about a day away from having to make, about a half day away actually, from having to make a decision, which I will discuss in a moment. The party is facing right now a current hunt score, dragon hunt score of 7. And their veil right now is -2, basically because they've despite their best efforts, they have sometimes made note of their arrival. So it's sometimes hard to keep the dragon from noticing. And so basically we are starting here with the next day with several things that have to happen right after the being spotted by orcs thing. So there's several things that have to happen. The first is that the party is going to need to make corruption checks. And I'll get to you in one secretary. And then once that's done, the party is going to need to make a hunt score check as well. And then we will continue with the adventure. But first, Tari.
Yeah, just like wondering, not sure if it actually will matter, but I figured I'd ask ahead, are spoilers for Rings of Power okay on stream? Or
No!
absolutely
Sorry.
not okay.
Mhm.
Okay,
Sorry,
good thing I asked.
I fell far behind, and it's a very good question though, because yeah, I'm like 2 or 3 episodes in, and I think it's a terrible show, but it's still Tolkien material, and I'm only a completionist about Tolkien nonsense. So I still don't know who Sauron is, and so I'm like, so yeah, I would appreciate no spoilers there. Sorry, I feel so tedious about this.
No, don't be sorry. That's why I asked. This was not
Yeah.
like I need to talk about these. I gotta warn you ahead of time. No, this is like, is it okay if I do? No.
Just laughing at the.
So,
I still don't know who
perfectly.
Sauron is.
I cannot even begin to tell you how like it is walking a very interesting line between catnip for people who have read the appendices and Silmarillion and toxic poison for people who have read the Silmarillion
Yeah.
and appendices. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like scorpion pepper of some kind. Sometimes
it
it's
is-
nice. But yeah.
It is obviously Mr. Burroughs, clearly.
Oh, well, there we go. All right.
So yes. So let's talk a little bit then about how we're going to manage, first of all, the corruption check.
Very nicely done, Inge.
Okay, so
Look at that crit that I didn't get.
No, you did. Because of the juice that Tawny made, everybody makes these rolls at advantage.
Oh,
You just
thank
got a
goodness.
natural
Oh,
20.
I did
Hey!
not know that. Okay, very
Hooray!
good.
it is
I
thanks.
do love advantage juice.
It is thanks to. It is thanks to Tani's special anti-corruption made juice from bees and things. That works. Tani also
Don't
with
juice
the
the bees,
18.
please.
It's actually
Okay.
made from hagweed, but okay.
Juiced bees.
Okay. 21.
Woo!
All right. Oh, everyone's in a good mood today. Oh.
Oh!
Everyone's in their rule. Okay. Just 1 second.
That's
then.
right. It's like record scratch. You're probably wondering how I got it.
You three are in the front, like marching ahead and stuff, and then Bola's behind you.
No!
Chips freeze frame. That's me. I'm not doing well here. Oh my god.
Oh.
Okay. So let me just confirm what the number was against them.
So it's a crit, I lose all my shadow points, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
That is
But it
inaccurate.
says so in like the appendices of
The Rings of Power, which, as we discussed, is not actually
Right.
canon. Okay.
I've
But
and
you
everything.
see, when
Stone-
Galadriel makes a corruption save and she gets a crit in the series.
Yeah. Stone is
Yeah,
uncorruptible
but
and
that's totally a
pure,
thing that happens.
right? So yeah, Stone is uncorruptible and pure and doesn't have to do any rolls.
Because he's a good boy. He's
Yeah,
the
all
best
dogs
good
go
boy.
to heaven.
The best good boy.
Okay. So, having crossed this area, and Bolo, you also, of course, were the one who crossed the maze. You know that area of land where you basically were kind of going through this like the cracked earth and everything, and almost got caught a couple of times and things like that. And so it may be as a result of that, the fact that you heard the orcs speaking about it directly. Who knows? But one way or the other, you feel this kind of the weight sort of sinking into you. So you do, in fact, get a shadow point. And I think that puts you up to 5 shadow points, if I'm not mistaken. And actually, Bolo, I have you at 5. River, you're at 5 as well, I think, shadow points.
Yes.
And Stone has got 1 still. Inga still has 9 that we're dealing with.
What do I have to roll for Stone?
Ooh,
And 4.
Inga number 1.
And that would be Wisdom. It would be a Wisdom saving throw. So a Wisdom check, basically, will be what you've got for Stone. But he will certainly get an advantage on that since he gets to eat the same stuff.
Woohoo!
Okay, an 18. Yep. Okay, so that's
Do I have to make this roll for Freaky? I don't have a character sheet for him.
We'll say no for now. We're going to have to make sure that we put together a character sheet at some point for Freaky. But it's very small at the moment, and Freaky lived a little bit close to this land to begin with. So I think not at the moment, but down the line that may be a concern. Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit then about this awareness check, this dragon hunt check. So the way this works is, as you may remember, you're going to be rolling a d20. You're going to add the veil score to the result. And as I said, at the moment, you were at a -2 for a variety of reasons that'll take too long to explain, but see previous episodes. And right now, what you're looking at is it is a score of 7. So you are trying to beat a 7, basically. So one of you will be doing that. Doesn't matter who. But one of you needs to make that roll.
I nominate.
All right. D20.
I already got my good roll for the day out, so let's...
Wait, can we inspire?
Inspiration can be used, but not by the party on this one. If we get inspiration from one of you, because it affects all of you equally, so you can't use inspiration on yourselves.
Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense. Yeah.
But if the chat has an inspiration they wish to use to inspire these players, they may do so in the normal way. For those of you,
bearing in mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, inspiration is, again, we have another adventure. I don't know if Trent was going to mention that, but there is, there's Eberron Oracle of War is coming up later, and Trent may have some knowledge of that.
Later today.
Later today. But this will be the last one. This and next session will be the last 2 of the month. So now's the time that you can use it. So if you are one of those people listed on that sheet that you see there, you may feel free to inspire. And Wispy... okay. Oh, inspire check. I think you were checking to see if you had one, Wispy. Instead, what has happened is you have inspired check. So whenever we have check, no, I'm just kidding. Did you actually want to inspire the party? Oh, actually, no, I take that back. You inspired because you wanted them to get inspiration in the check. Thank you, Wispy. That totally works. Okay. So, that means this is going to be an advantage, Trent. So 20 minus 2 at advantage.
So here's the first one. And here's the second one.
Oh, no. Well, we've still beaten us.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, either one of them would have, although the second would have been a little shaky. Okay, so you would have had a 10. So the score is going to go up, but you're not going to actually have to face an event because of having dealt with that. At least not that event.
Thank you, Wispy!
Thank you.
Good stuff. Thank you, Wispy. So with all that knowledge in play, you travel on for another probably, I would say, 5 to 6 hours before you find yourself facing a decision. And Ukgash comes to you. At this point, you've been sort of bending low, trying to kind of keep out of sight. There have been foul crows that sometimes have passed overhead, usually just a couple of them, but anytime you see any of those around here, you're a little worried because they can, of course, be messengers of the enemy. Whenever you see, in fact, any creatures in the sky at all, you have a tendency to maybe cringe a bit since, there's kind of a big flying thing that you may have to deal with at some point, and so on. And as you get closer and closer, this feeling of being watched just continues to grow, as if there is just something perpetually staring in your direction. And after about 4 to 5 hours, as you've entered now the darkest of these lands, Utgash comes up to the four of you and says, now we must decide. In front of us, you can see choices await. And he kind of turns and he brings you all sort of just this little hillock and points down. So, assuming you follow him, I shouldn't assume. Are you going to go up and follow with him? Okay.
Yeah, I will.
So, Inga, you too. So if you're going to look over that little hillock and look
Yes.
down, you can see down below that there is essentially a gorge, not the kind of cracked earth that you dealt with, Bolo, but a gorge that's basically just one large gap through the earth that extends more or less directly to Zarakanbar, more or less directly to the watchtower. That is the more direct route. But and Utgash points down it and he says, that route is faster, but filled with my people. And you can see, like ants, the black figures kind of moving through the gorge. Now, they're moving slowly, which is probably predictable because, as you know, Misty Mountain orcs do not like the sunlight very much. So it's maybe a little surprising to see them there at all, but they're definitely not moving rapidly. But there are many, many of them down there. If you had to estimate, hundreds of them, probably between you and Zarakanbar in this gorge. And so he says, that route is faster. Or up there. And he points up, and he points to the hills that mark the border between the waste and the withered heath. They are steep and rocky, and every route goes up steep cliffs or sheer cliffs or over mounds of loose scree and kind of pebbles and stone. All of you, except Bolo, will remember the biting cold winds that howled around the slopes when you were here the last time, the icy rime on the rocks, but it is different now, as we talked about. There's no ice, there's no snow. And so the cliffs sort of glisten like this blade in the dying sun. Ice is turned to slippery slush and back again, and you can see mud on the hillside where formerly there was ice kind of hanging off of it. And so you basically have a decision to make, and I don't think you made this, but correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you made this decision last time, right? Or did you?
I feel like we did.
Did you make the
actually.
call? Okay.
This actually,
What
this-
decision?
to go directly or to go around.
And did you go around? I don't remember. If
I
you
feel
went.
like we did. Not only did we, I feel like we actually started to make progress up it. Like
Yeah,
this
you
sounds
were.
very familiar.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So we must have
Yeah,
you must
we-
have gone up then.
We found a
Okay.
hollow or something like that.
Okay.
Shortly after leaving. Yeah, so I think we did. We took like the high.
You took the mountain route. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
So sorry. So you've already made that choice then. But so you're up in the mountains, but you're about a day or so in. So sorry, Tara, you wanted to ask me a question?
Yeah, and that is like the orcs that we see. Like, do they look like they are basically the quote unquote same orcs that we saw last time when we were here, or is this like a different tribe of orcs?
No. It does
Like,
look.
can we make out any kind of identifying markers, or like, are they wearing different style of clothes or anything like that?
Not from the distance where you are, no. But according to Utgash, these are his people, and if that's true, although Utgash himself is a very impressive-looking orc,
Well,
but
half of him is.
half of him is, yeah. Well, I don't know. I think that burned part makes him even more impressive, just a different way. But he, even having said that, he is not an Urukai, right? These orcs are orcs from the Misty Mountains, so they are not as sort of strong and intimidating, probably, Inga, you would say, if it's true that this is the same tribe. But there's just so many of them, I mean, like hundreds of orcs are going to be a threat regardless. But you don't see any specific up close markings and things like that because you're too far away, especially now having taken the mountain route.
So also no like banners or anything.
No, there are no banners down there.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
And-
would probably not be the first time that a dwarf said, "Oh, come on, we could take him."
That's right. Allegedly, this tribe now also serves the dragons, so we will see what happens with that. Okay, so, right, okay, yeah, because you did the Orc Scouts. I remember now, yes, okay. Sorry, apologies. It has been, like, almost 2
It
months.
has been a long time.
It has been almost 2 months. All right, so, Okay, so I said you were about a day and a half out. So about midway through that day, as you're traveling along, you find yourself, and this is going to be discovered originally, I think, by Bolo, who is the scout here. So as you're continuing along, Bolo, you find yourself at a certain point, probably just about midday, that you come to a spot where basically the only way forward is a sheer cliff. It's the one that's like literally straight ahead of you, because to the right, the mountains are basically overhanging, at least the side of the rocks are overhanging, so you wouldn't really be able to climb up to your right. And if you want to go to your left, you're going to end up slipping and sliding all the way back down to the gorge, which is exactly what you expressly were trying to avoid. So what you have in front of you to keep going in the same way that you have been going, Bolo, towards Arakanbar, but via the mountains, is up this sheer cliff. So you're going to need to climb up it,
Okay.
and then presumably would drop a rope down, I assume, but you tell me, for the party behind you.
I mean, can I tell if the way up ahead is easy-ish? You know, I mean, is it a wise move to continue? Can I tell from this vantage? You know what I mean? I don't want to get up there and get everybody else up there and then find out that it's impassable.
Yeah. The problem is the cliff is kind of blocking it. So you can't really see what's ahead of you. I mean, one alternative is you could try to take time to search around the base of the cliff to see if there's like an alternate route either of going or seeing. The only problem is, Bolo, that it's going to take hours to do that because of the way that everything is positioned. So you could, if you wish, try to avoid this and maybe get a look at the land ahead, but it's going to take a while. So you'd be trading time for knowledge, I guess.
Yeah, and if I made it to the top, I could just answer that question.
Yes, that's true.
By getting there. I am the scout, but I'm not sure what I don't know if it'll be athletics or survival.
It would be athletics.
Yeah, see, I'm not good, so I'm actually -1. It's based on strength, so I'm gonna have to wait for the group basically.
Okay.
I think River would probably offer to go up and take a look.
Okay.
Also,
so I wait for the group.
Can
And
Freaky not just fly up there and have a
I
look?
was going to say, just have Freaky carry Bolo up there, huh?
What? Yes, as far as the actual
Freaky,
possible
bring it.
part of what you just suggested, Freaky could go up and take a look. Freaky obviously can't bring anything up with him, but Freaky could certainly go up and look if you wish, yes.
I thought we decided Freaky could carry lots of things. Didn't we decide that?
I'm sure you have decided lots of things. Which decisions are true?
Anyway, so like if Freaky checks it out and gives, I don't know, talons up, that River will volunteer to actually climb up and throw rope down.
Okay. So Inga, if you're going to send Freaky up to do that, are you?
Well, first of all, what time of day is it?
It's midday,
Roughly.
So just past midday, maybe
Midday.
1 o'clock. Now,
Okay,
there's not like a
so-
bright sun because of where you are, but it is light for sure.
Okay, so, and for context, just how visible would Freaky be if he would fly up there? Because, he's a raven.
He's a
not
black
exactly
Reagan set against a
subtle.
white sky. Yeah, I'd say fairly visible.
But there are also crows
okay.
around.
But occasional ones, though. And the fact that you continue to notice the couple that go overhead every so often you're probably not the only one who notices those, right?
But ravens probably can't pass well as crows, right? Not in this world. Right?
Probably not. I guess it
Everyone's
depends.
super good at birding in this world.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not sure, but I
Yeah.
would say, I think it's more that everyone is just super paranoid, around here, right? Everyone is just hypersensitive.
Yeah. Okay, maybe not send Freaky. He would probably give away our position. So
Yeah. When River gets to the cliff and kind of takes stock of the situation, she'll be like, "Well, catch me if I fall," and she'll make her way up, hopefully.
Okay,
with
bringing a rope with you?
Yep.
Okay. So I need you to make. So this is about a 30-foot, at least tall cliff. So I need you in those first 10 feet to make an athletics check for me, please.
I have done it.
Okay. Yeah. So you have, no problem at all going over those first 10 feet. It is
River
as
has
a
great relative strength, not absolute strength, but relative strength.
It is a sheer cliff river, and as you go up, you can feel the kind of the dampness of this. This was obviously a cliff where there also would have been some ice, probably like a sheen of ice at some point, but it is all now melted. Okay, so 10 feet up, all of your companions looking at you anxiously from below. You can take that second athletics check to go the next 10 feet.
Oh, great. Awesome.
It's an 800-foot cliff, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. 800 checks. No.
Amazing.
80 checks. No.
Yeah, well...
Just three. Just three.
At this point, I mean, at these weight checks, since it is so high, I hadn't understood how high it was. Would it make sense for her to I don't know what rock climbing gear we have, not
put spikes.
You can try to hammer in a piton or something like that. Yes,
Yeah.
basically into the side of the rock, if you will. Although it is exceedingly. The rock is, you're going to laugh hard. It's always hard. But I mean, it's exceedingly more
than being soft.
Yeah, exactly. But but it's, possibly the icy freeze is still not out of the inside of the rock maybe, but it's definitely hard to do. But you think you can maybe hammer it in enough. You're not going to have a lot of leverage with it though, because you're also having to hold on while trying to hammer a piton in. So it's not It's like you do it, but you're like, What
I'm expecting here is that if that's 10 feet up, then she'd be hammering it in from below, right? She'd have gone up a little ways, hammered it while she was stable, and then that can mark a 10-foot spot.
Yeah.
And then she would continue going.
Yep.
She's not hammering
it's more
it from
directing it. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Right, I figured.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, but also I've never done any rock climbing. This is entirely gleaned from what it looks like in the cinema. Anyway, okay, next I very blithely made this first roll, but now that I know there are 3 of them.
Now you start looking down, don't ever look down the cliff.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
If anyone wants to offer inspirations, I will gladly accept.
This one I would allow if anyone in the party wishes to inspire, they could. This is up to you.
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
I will inspire the river.
That's great.
Good setup. All right, so Tren, go ahead and type it in when you get the chance. And all right, Tren will use one of his inspirations to inspire the river. Okay. Which I imagine is Tawny just from below yelling, "You can do it!" Up at them. All right.
I've got you. It's like, don't pull on it.
Pain is weakness leaving the body.
All right. So 19.
So a 19, yes, that is also successful. You were able to make your way up a little bit further, another 10 feet or so. Now you're about 20 feet up and 10 feet shy of the top of the cliff.
Great. Another piton hammered in. I'm assuming this is just either to, partly to give some leverage as she goes up and partly to not sink too far back.
But you would only fall as far as the piton.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully, if the piton holds, but yes.
Inshallah. Okay. Last one.
Last one.
Okay. I don't know. Shall I do this without inspiration, or it feels greedy to use more than one inspiration at this point? So here we go. All right. Save inspirations for other people. She looks up. Edges in sight, hopefully.
Stone staring up at you.
Deep breath. And alley-oop.
Hey!
The 16.
I'm glad that 12 wasn't first.
Yeah.
So...
Gets harder and harder.
As it should. Okay. So...
Dice follow the narrative.
Yeah.
Okay, so you make your way up and over. And when you come over the top of the cliff river, you were able to see that indeed you are now probably less than a day's travel from here, from the watchtower, which feels good. You're like, all right, as you scrabble up, you're like, that sounds good. And then your foot kind of sort of slips down into what at first you think is just like a little hole or a gully. And then when you kind of pull your foot out a little bit to look at what it is, you see sorry, yeah, your foot is gone. No, you see what is can only be described as a very, very large paw print.
Dun, dun. Very cool. Okay.
They have
Wow.
puppies here.
Yeah, is it a paw print or is it a
Very,
paw
very large paw print.
But it is a paw print. Are we talking? Okay, listen. Are we
Yes,
talking
it is a paw
morgue
print.
or are we talking dragon?
No, not a claw print.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
this
a-
is
it's
like
a
a
maw
mammalian
print.
dragon,
It's
like
a
from Rankin Bass
sandworm.
movies.
Yeah. It's a maw
So
print.
it's like
Okay. No, it's a paw
Amazing.
print.
Okay, River looks at that and shudders, and then turns her attention back to setting up the rope for helping people to climb up. So doing the whole staking it in and wrapping it round and holding it back and all of that sort of stuff that I presume makes sense again outside of my
Lane 1 on belay.
Okay, so you drop that down to the rope falls silently down as you have the other one secured. And, okay, you're now down below. What's up, Wayman Wolf? Thank you for the tier 2 sub. Graboids, what kind of campaign are you running? Law's here to a grand 41 months. Good to see you, Wayman. I hope all is well. Thank you so much for the sub today. Thanks for the subs and resubs today, folks. Okay, so the rope is dropped down, and now the rest of you can, with the river securing it, make your way up. Now, there is one concern, which you may already have considered. If you can, does the party want to tell me what the concern may be about going
The
up?
rope
a
is
30-foot
made of
staircase?
acid.
No. Everything is fine with
okay,
the rope and with the creatures that go on two legs.
Cinemagically, Stone is fine and is able to get up because that is just how it ought to work.
I suspect that Stone might make it. I'm a little more concerned. Well, actually, no, because Lilimon's not here, so it's just Frankie, right? That's here with Stone.
Yeah.
Stone. So here's the deal. Stone has to be addressed one way or the other. You could either tie it around him, like kind of harness him carefully and then pull him up, or you could have him go on the back, like Tawny could. Didn't you do this before, where
We
Stone was
did.
on the back of Tawny? So you could do that.
We have a methodology for getting Stone up and down ropes. I think it usually does involve like putting Stone on the back, and I think Stone has practice.
Okay.
Do it.
Yes.
I just want to make
So-
sure I'm clear
We
about how
basically rig a shoulder and hip harness for Stone, and then Tawny just sort of slings him across his shoulder, so Stone's head is sticking up on the side. And
It's literally occurring to me now that I have actually spent some time with like looking after dogs and stuff. The amount of like paraphernalia that can accompany literally just taking the dog on the walk,
Oh, yeah.
like a harness, it absolutely makes sense to me that an adventuring party would, by this point, several years into it, have a harness for Stone.
Yeah.
like a leather thing that goes around with big strong rings and attach. So anyway,
Yes.
because we've forded rivers and climbed cliffs
Oh,
and
yeah.
climbed down into pits. I just believe we have this stuff now.
No, I accept that. It's just a matter of, having to deploy it and use it. You still got to actually execute it.
For
when
sure,
it's
for
there.
sure.
That's all.
I do have a question for Tari, though. This huge stripe of white going through the Roll20 chat, where you clicked on the like Ravens of the Mountain or whatever it was. The text window is just on my screen. It's just empty white.
Oh, I see.
Oh.
I see it having.
No, I see it.
Words.
I see no text in there, but looking at it, I see this big line of white, and then I see the river's rolls beneath it. So it immediately makes me think of Undertale, where the dog's neck just keeps getting longer and longer out of frame.
Look, man, I almost expired and left this mortal plane during that. I was laughing so hard. So that is a highlight on my channel. It was one of the funniest things ever. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God. So good. Anyway. Okay. So, so just to be clear, and I'm not going to make you RP all of this, just order-wise though. Who's going? Like River's already up there, so who's going first, second, and then is Tawny bringing up the rear with Stone, or like how are you bringing everybody up? Like what order?
order
Inga
I
would like prefer to go last because she really, really likes to keep a very close eye on our orc friend here,
Okay. Right.
I can-
making sure he doesn't run off.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, wait, Inga's the strongest, right?
No, I mean, like considering that you've gotten a +8 on your athletics
Yeah, but
things
River's
by
not very
now, I don't
strong.
think.
She just has a lot of athletics. I think you have the highest strength
Oh.
score, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I just have a +2 in strength, so.
Better than mine.
Yep. Inga is the strongest, I believe. Anyway, what I was going to suggest and what River would say, because like the last person probably would bring up Stone, is that the strongest person should either be last. I don't want to belabor this, but basically, like, she sure would like having more help up there to hold the rope when heavier people go up. So it would make more sense to her for Inga to go up immediately to help hold the rope, and then Bolo, who if he slipped could be caught by Tawny, who is tall. Then Tawny, then Utgash.
Oh gosh, it's probably like the.
Okay, sure.
Or
Yeah.
Utgash could go first, and you could come up after.
He's probably like the guys in a
And leave him
He's just
alone
gonna
with you
spider
out
climb
there?
up there.
Well, he's waiting to see what you all decide. Kind of.
Let's come up with 3 different proposals and write them down.
Yeah,
For a
seriously,
little
let's not do
while.
that.
We'll vote on the.
Okay, yeah. We're not going to do that.
Bolo's
Yeah,
just gonna
okay,
head
so
to the
Inga
rope
goes
and start
second and
climbing.
helps stabilizing the rope.
Okay, so Bolo's going to go up first.
I snap the rope to gain River's attention and say, "Help me up."
Hey,
Yep, and you're able to head up without even doing a check, Bolo, especially with the aid of the rope. When you get up to the top, you see River there, and you see the large, very, very large paw print behind that I have previously mentioned. Okay, yeah, exactly. Use channel points to vote on course of action. How to grind a campaign completely to a halt. Okay, okay. Next up, so Bolo is up, so we've still got Inga, Tani, Utgash, and Stone. So, Inga, you next? Or I'm sorry, you were going to go last.
Inga was
So,
gonna go
so Tani, are you going up
second.
with Stone next? Is that what's happening? Okay.
I think it would also be helpful to have Stone up there to help watch.
Okay.
Help him keep.
Okay.
Okay.
keep
Also, she like I guess when she's like carrying if she's carrying Stone now instead of Tren doing that, then I guess.
No, he'll still carry Stone. I think it would be good to have
Okay,
Stone
because
up top.
but like Freaky, like basically when he's not flying around, he's basically sitting on the back of her backpack behind her head.
Right.
So like that's where he is. Yeah,
Okay.
For reference.
imagining him helping with his beak, going on the rope.
Yeah, like just climbing up by grabbing the rope. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So again, Tani, you were able to go up without difficulty. The rope does creak a little bit, somewhat alarmingly, beneath the combined weight of Tani and Stone. And Tani
Shut
has
up, I've been losing weight.
and Tani has to do some of the work because despite River's aforementioned relative strength, this is pulling up a Bjorning and a
Yep.
good sized dog is not not that easy, but you do manage to make your way up. You come up to find Bolo sitting nearby along with the River, who's holding on the rope. I'm not going to say panting with exhaustion, but definitely having been
Gritting
used
her
exercise.
teeth.
Yes,
certainly.
there you go. So Tani, you and Stone get off. That leaves us with Utgash and Inga. So
And
Inga,
immediately start watching, doing lookout duty to make sure we don't get snuck up on.
right, and Tani also, because you're the hunter, right, for the group.
Yes.
So do me a favor before we get to Inga climbing up. I would like you to make a survival check because you also see this large paw print here.
It should be noted that Tawny's reaction and Tren's reaction will be very, very different.
Yes, understandably.
Natural 20. Well,
Okay.
I don't know. I don't. Wait, no. Do I have? I don't have advantage on.
I don't
this
think you're doing
effect.
this on advantage, right?
No.
Okay. So if that's okay though, you're able to determine this is definitely, if almost certainly, maybe not definitely, but almost certainly a warg of some kind.
So not as
And-
big as I was thinking. Okay,
Yeah,
never mind.
it's well, yeah,
Funny
but
was
it's a
hoping
big
for his
warg.
boyfriend.
It's a big
Imagine
warg.
Stone
Um,
if
so-
it doesn't go.
Yeah, I mean, Stone has been kind of like sniffing around it anyway. And what's more,
Does it
Tawny,
smell like Fritos? No, never mind.
No.
Go on.
What's more, Tawny, there is more than one of them. You can see that there are a couple of these tracks around here, and if you had to guess, not that old. Relatively recent. Maybe
Puppy prints. Then.
maybe with
Gotcha.
maybe within the day that these prints were left. So I'm going to come back to you on that. You can ponder that while Inga goes up. Inga, it's you and Ukash. Are you letting Ukash go first and you're last, or how do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Ukash goes first.
So Ukash kind of looks and then
It's easier
grabs
to shoot him if he's in front of her.
and grabs the rope. And Inga, you are struck. You get the best view of this, I think.
Ew.
That basically, Ukash. Oh, would you stop? You know what? Listen. You have disadvantage for the rest of the night, all right? No, I'm just kidding. It's absolutely...
Yeah, what happens to like
Auf die nice
strength of your
orc booty.
ancestors coursing through your veins when you get the best possible view? Sorry.
Not that kind of view. It's a whole different adventure in Lower Earth. That's not what we're talking about here. So... No, in the fully clothed, no. No, what strikes you about
Yoga
this?
pants.
Yoga,
Just like shows
Oh.
everything.
what, yoga pants, God. No,
I
what
thought he was
what's
wearing a loincloth, actually. Was he not? I don't know.
yeah, but it's not like but it's
Move
more,
on.
It's more
Move
of like
on.
anyway, yes. So Ukash climbs this rope essentially with one arm. Like basically just sort of steadying himself against the rock face with his other hand. With his left hand, he just climbs, up the rope, not looking down, and scales it, not just with ease, but actually, River, you're a little bit startled too, because you're sort of like where's the whoa? And then oh gosh, just like emerges over the top and kind of, rolls to, sort of rolls and comes to a stop on the other side, like on the top of the cliff, and then not even breathing heavily, says, hurry, not safe here.
I'm gonna need you to stop making this orc so hot. Just like it's sorry, upper body strength is very attractive. Being one-handedly pulling his way up a rope is very, very admirable.
I press 450 usually.
Do you even lift, bro?
How can I not be hot when I'm the burn dog? Anyway.
Thank you.
So hot. I survived a dragon burning my face off.
Oh man, I like how it's hot to multiple members of this group for different reasons. Anyway. Yeah.
Ardenel, oh my god.
Even Trent's hat, it's amusing too.
Yep.
And Arudinel says a line which I'm not going to repeat, but all of you can read it and then laugh on your own. All right.
Friendly twitch.
Let's just keep that clearly. Oh my gosh, most enlightening. Yes.
No.
So Ukash, with no problem, just says to to hurry up. So Inga, you are now at the bottom. You're the only one who's left.
Turns and goes home.
I have a last look around and then start climbing.
Okay. So you climb up, and so as you go up with no problem. About 2/3 of the way up, I need you to make a perception check for me, please.
Uh-oh. Oh wait, different campaign. I do have not shit perception in this game.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
In the
I don't
other
think it's that
game I
bad.
play, I have like a -2 on perception or something.
Wow. Hey, Hilda.
So that's
Wow. See, you perceive all.
I see everything.
Yeah, having
Um,
gotten that really
everything.
good look earlier, your eyes are widened to their capacity.
And also we are in the wilderness, so I should get like a bonus on that as well. Like double.
But this is not a known
what's it
lands
called?
thing, is it? Because this is not a known land to you.
No. This
Okay.
is just wild.
Oh, okay.
Wilderness, I think. Oh, I have too many feet.
This is your
shoot.
weekly
Haha.
Scotch break, Arudinel, so it's our fault. Okay. Noted.
Ways
Um,
of the Wild. Blah blah blah.
Okay, regardless, you can look up that bonus, but regardless, a critical
It's a
will
natural
definitely get the
20,
job done. Yeah. So what you hear,
Yeah.
Inga, as you're sort of 2/3 of the way up, you're, kind of like, and of course, River's helping and the River's helping and all that, but you hear a, like,
Incoming!
more or less, it sounds like wind whistling underneath wings from a big distance, but definitely quiet and getting louder.
Like bird wings or like vaguely non-bird
This would be some
wings?
big ass birds, if that were the case.
The Eagles!
Well,
no.
right. So
Howling,
like,
though
well,
very
I'm like
big,
halfway up,
causes no
right?
sound.
2/3 of the way up.
2/3.
20 feet up.
Okay. Yeah, I look in the direction I hear the whistling from, I guess.
I will have you make this perception check, but I'm going to give you advantage on this regardless of what you discovered because of how well you did on the previous perception check.
Dang.
This first one was to hear. This one is to see,
Good.
which is good because that would have been bad otherwise. You see Inga
Yeah,
in the,
so that would be. Wait, what is my proficiency bonus? Where does it say?
it's an anvil.
Plus
It is not an
4,
anvil.
so I get. So that's a 25.
Okay.
I think.
25. So
Right?
you
Yeah,
see
25.
so you see in the distance as you're looking over your shoulder here, Inga, silhouetted against the gray sort of the gray sky, you can see a dark shape. It is a single dark shape, but it is growing larger fairly rapidly. And for you to hear the whistling of the wings of something that you can see from this distance indicates it's very, very large.
This might be a dragon. Yeah.
Freaky's Freaky in your ear is like,
Yeah, like Inga, like hurries the fuck up, and then like once she's up there, does she make it up? I hope she makes it up.
yes, you're able to make it up the rest of the way, and by which point it's gotten considerably larger.
Yeah. Okay. Like
Did
and
we
like as
see
soon as
this
she's
at the
like
top?
she like
Not yet.
basically like you know when you like whisper but you like want to shout at the same time.
Yes, okay.
It's like she just like goes hide and like frantically pulls the rope up.
Okay. And now you can all make perception checks.
Ah.
This is not an advantage, though, unless there's
This is
particular
gonna
reason.
go well.
Okay, so 14, Bolo? Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Nice, River.
I would say that Bolo and Tawny still don't see it, but you do, River. There is a dark. You kind of maybe pick up a little bit of whistling, but not nearly the way Inga did. But you absolutely see a shape which is growing larger by the second. And Utgash sort of clearly has spotted it too. And not safe. Must move. Worms on wings. Come. And like turns and scurries off basically down the way. So now the question is here's the good news is you've got a nice open path to the watchtower. The bad news is you've got a nice open path to the watchtower. So how does the party want to handle this? And I'm not going to give you a lot of time to talk about it. You got to move quick because this thing is
Is there
coming
any
fast.
cover that we can see?
There is some rubble and rocks and stones. There's like some scrub brush. Not enough to fit all of you in one place though.
Can we flatten ourselves?
Yeah, I guess like the best plan is like everybody runs and like finds the first spot they can hide in.
Can we actually the shape that we've seen? Are we above it or is it above us?
It is above you.
It's above us.
Yes. I mean, not way above. It's almost on a line actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and Utgash has just like booked it.
Yeah,
He's
Utgash is basically heading down the path, and he does seem himself to be looking for like, a place to jump under or hide behind or whatever.
Okay, I think what we're
Yeah,
going to
same
say
thing.
is scatter. We need to scatter and get cover now, and that is what
Yeah.
she's going
Okay.
to do. And she's going to, if she can find cover, great. Otherwise, she will flatten herself with stone next to her and spread cloak over both
Okay.
of them.
We're going to talk about checks for that. Before I do it, I just recalled, I do think we might have missed a party member here. Did you have Lord Elston with you?
Oh
Yeah, we-
shit!
So,
Yes, we did.
so Lord Elston's like, hey, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna. You would have to account for him too. Now,
I completely forgot
Yeah.
that he was with
I
us.
didn't know.
Yeah.
I just straight up didn't know.
yeah, Lord Elston, you actually found. Now, remember,
We
for those.
rescued him. and
Yes,
we
for those in
reunited him
chat.
with Buckler.
For those who chat who don't know what we're talking about, Lord Elston is a hero of the realm. He is one of King Bard's greatest advisors and is well known to the party. He was the one that was betrayed and attacked by the dwarven mercenaries that the party previously defeated, and the party found him and saved him. But Lord Elston's best fighting days are behind him, and not to mention the fact that he got the hell beat out of him, and so even though he's been healed by Tani and so on, he's still, is going to need a few weeks of rest to kind of get himself back to normal. So he can certainly probably come up on his own with the rope, but it does mean that you'd need to send him like maybe right before you, Inga, if you wanted to do that. And you might need to help a little
Yeah,
more
Inga would
than
go last. That
normal.
was the
Okay,
plan.
so that would be the case either way. All right. So, because when you bring Lord Elston up, the reason I mentioned this is why I was thinking about it actually. So Lord Elston sort of, when you tell everyone like, okay, scatter, and Akash is like, move and all that, Elston sort of is standing there and he's kind of staring off into the distance at it. And you can see that he is gripping his spear and, of course, his shield, which you have given back to him, his gigantic shield. And he says, you should find cover. Get behind a boulder or rock, all of you. And he makes no movement to move, no attempt to move.
This is straight out of Crawl.
Ah!
Let me guess, we're already running at the moment where he
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I would. Well, I'm saying this just before you make the decision to bolt, since we forgot that he was there for a minute.
Yeah.
Well, Tawny would probably be starting to move off and then realize that Elston was
Right.
like, what are you doing? Hide.
Yeah.
And Elston says, for what reason exactly? You know what that is. And I've faced creatures like this before. I can buy you time.
We did too.
I can buy you time, hours of it, instead of slowing you down. I do not intend to die, but I also do not intend to crawl the rest of the way. Do as I say.
Then we should make our stand together. We should fight if you're going to stand and fight.
You cannot fight against a dragon like this in the open air.
You can.
And he says, I can act as a focal point for this thing.
Who's higher, a lord or a thane?
A lord.
Lord would be higher.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about three
Yeah.
things?
I'm also feeling this stupid chain of commands lately.
Yeah. Right. This is the battle on Red Dawn, where they're just kind of like, no, the XO is right. Like it's a battle between the XO and the captain. He and I will say, Tani, since you're closest to him, he does not look like, his face doesn't look like he's feverish or he's insane or he just looks resolute, is the way that his face looks. And his big shield that he's kind of behind.
Tawny has known him for a while.
Yeah.
Tawny's going to abide by his wishes.
Okay.
Much as he doesn't want to leave him, he knows why he's doing it, and he understands what's at stake.
Right.
Yeah. River feels the same without having known him as long. It feels this deep pang of, but we just saved you. So she doesn't say that. But she takes just like an extra half a second to try and remember exactly how he looks with his face set on this rock and stuff, thinking that if she survives this, she will find a way to pay tribute to it.
Yeah. He and you can see like his face, there's a moment where perhaps just through a trick of physics and the movement of clouds, a ray of light just happens to sneak through the clouds, and it kind of illuminates him as he waits with his shield as the rest of you hurry. Now, because you're allowing him to do this, I'm going to give you advantage on this check that you're all about to make. I need all 4 of you, please, are going to make survival checks for me, which I think is wisdom-based if you don't have survival. But I need you to make survival checks to find... Okay, so survival if you have it, if not wisdom, to try to basically get into cover. There's not a whole ton of it, but...
It's not stealth?
No, because what you're trying to find is a place that's hidden enough. I mean, actually, Bolo, I guess I can put that as a choice to you. What you could do is you could try to basically just stealth it where you are, you know what I mean? But like this is trying to find a hiding place behind which people can get, because even stealth in the middle of an open plain practically is going to have some limited utility. But I would give you the option, if you wanted to try to stealth it instead, you can do that. Like that's a better skill for you, but it's not as effective in this context, so you have to balance that out, I guess.
And so, like, stealth without advantage or survival with advantage?
Correct. That's exactly right. Stealth without advantage or survival with advantage, yeah.
Yeah, I'll do stealth, because I'm just very good at it.
Yeah, no, you are. No doubt.
Disadvantage.
Okay.
For me, that's a 14, by the way, not a 10.
Okay. So it's a...
Wow, Bolo. Wow.
Jesus. All right, a 31, Chad.
I do the rock thing with
carrying the ring on him,
no,
actually.
He just becomes Snake in Metal Gear. He just, like, immediately a box appears over his head, and he's instantaneously hidden from, like...
It seems especially fitting to quote Bilbo from the Rankin Bass Hobbit from 1970s, when Bilbo says, the art of burgling is, as you know, the art of being invisible.
Yeah,
so to speak.
It is extremely impressive. Bolo, you basically managed to kind of roll behind a rock in such a way that your body covers you, and it looks almost as if your cloak is blended in with the rock. Your companions actually probably can't see you at all. Like, if they looked over, be like, what the hell happened to Bolo? Because of that check. So, yeah, you are in good shape there.
Bolo is also, by the way, like, freaking out. He's like... he's had all these visions of what Bilbo went through.
Yes.
And they were kind of like romanticized a little bit over time and stuff, but this is like the real thing. And so even though he's hiding and he's done it well, he is freaking out and like feels very small in the moment, kind of thing.
Yeah. And I can imagine that you'd be freaking out like
curling into a tiny little ball.
Yeah. Like just unbelievable. Okay.
And you mentioned that single ray of light coming out. If this were a different campaign, that's where Tawny would just look up at the sky and go, now you're showing off.
I feel like Lord Elston should have a basic knowledge of optics and angle his shield and blind the dragon.
Oh, I'm going to come back to that.
Great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Elston is not just going to be like, okay, derp. I mean, no, he's no. So, but I'll get back to that. Okay, so just to be clear with everybody. So Bolo does that. River, you ended up with a 13? Okay. Yeah. I'm going to come back to that. Inga, that's a 14, you said?
Correct.
Okay. So, Inga, you managed to find a spot, although you feel it's one of those ones where you're like, you ever had this deal where, like, I don't know, like playing hide and seek as a kid or something, where you hide somewhere and you're like, I think I'm hidden, but you're like, you wonder if I have a spot that's slightly exposed. Anyway, that's how you feel, but you're fairly confident you're hidden.
I can't see anybody,
then
nobody
can see me. Exactly.
Bug bladder beast.
Tawny, you find a place fairly easily, actually, because there is a spot where actually almost even essentially like a crack in the ground that is large enough just to kind of squeeze into. Although for your size, you're kind of like, I may regret this.
I imagine he's also probably pulling in like some bits of shale.
Exactly. To kind of cover around it. Also, River, I need stone to make this check too. Remember?
Sorry.
Freaky, I'm going to assuming it comes with you, so I don't think you need to make a separate check for Freaky here because you brought him with you.
Said wisdom.
Frankie just flies up to the dragon and goes, God, you're fat. And then just
pecks his eyes out like his one weakness.
Right.
Ooh.
The eyes, Freaky.
It was advantage.
At advantage because of Elston, yes.
Okay, good.
So,
all right.
Okay, so that's all good. So, so all of you do that. So the only one that we've got left here is River. So you are the River, who is probably least concealed and thus most exposed, and thus most able to see what happens next, because
Which makes sense, given that she said she was
Exactly.
watching.
Yeah,
Um,
the dice, they heard.
Yep.
As this creature comes flying in, and it is indeed a dragon, and as the dragon comes in, you hear its sound as it passes by. No. You hear the whip of its wings, and okay, right. So no, I want this sound though. Wait a second. Because I have a sound. Hold on, I have a sound.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than a.
Is it ultrasonic? We're going to be able to hear this sound.
Right, I know that's going to be important. Thank you for the follow. I can't see who that is because I don't have my thing set up yet, but
Probably Raynar, Terror of the North, coming in.
Yeah. You know, there's a sound
There we go.
that the wings of geese make when they fly overhead close enough that you can hear them, and it is this kind of strange mechanical creaking that is very strange to hear and to associate with, like, because you know geese make a lot of noise,
Yep.
but
Oh,
this
yeah.
is like when they're flying quietly and close to you, you can hear this creaking of their wings, and it's
From the feathers?
I think you can hear it
Robin?
now. Can you hear that?
There's something.
No,
Like
we can't.
cracking ice.
I'm hearing like a crackling, stomping.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sweeps overhead with a roar, and you can this creature, Bolo, you sort of there freaking out, terrified, just hear the sound and you feel the whip of the wind. Stones, even in your perfectly concealed space, kind of kick into your eyes, and you feel yourself, the ground shake just from the wind of its wings as it passes. And it passes over and roars, and then circles. And Elston, now, River, you're able to see, waiting, standing proudly on the edge, shield held high. The dragon circles around again. Also, River, you can also clearly see that this is Raynar, although it is Raynar uncloaked, as it were, more impressive than even when you first met him some time ago. He circles around and heads back, and with a roar of defiance heads directly for Elston on the front of the cliff. Elston holds his shield, and exactly as you suggested, angles the shield so that the gray light kind of casts, and the dragon sort of turns its head as it comes. And then Elston, for a moment, looking noble, perhaps a touch sad, lifts his shield just as the fire comes and shoots and blasts out. The sound of cracking and creaking and the wood and metal as they come together, holding up in front, and there is Elston standing as the dragon sweeps by, and there is a kind of just a roar of anger and rage from the dragon. And then you're forced to close your eyes at some point because the wind is so strong that it kicks up. Then the dragon then passes and sweeps along its way. And as you look over, you see now no sign of Elston or of the shield. There is simply wood and metal on the edge of the cliff, the top of the cliff, basically. And the dragon gradually recedes into the distance.
It's okay, I can pick him.
Is there like?
And
I mean,
Live.
so Ukash is the first to move, actually. He kind of waits and then comes out and walks over, lopes over really in his low way, and looks over the edge of the cliff, and then turns and then says, A good way to die. And then he walks past you as you all sit, and stand kind of in your various hiding places, and he says, "Come, the dead should not die for nothing."
All right, Bolo's like slowly coming out and looking at the skies and nervously goes over and just stares down at where Lord Elston was.
Down below, Bolo, you can see at the foot of the cliff a broken and twisted body. And it is hard to make out, even from just 30 feet above, what exactly it is, because it is also blackened. But certainly you see perhaps just the tabard, perhaps what's left of it, of the city of Dale.
River does not go to look. River turns her head and buries her face in Stone's fur and hugs him very, very close, and just kind of hangs on to the vision of Lord Elston unbroken and undaunted on the cliff, and decides that's how she's going to remember him. And after hanging on to his neck for as long as she comfortably can, she will stand and swallow and brush herself off and just start to make her way down after Upgash, but looks back just once at the spot where he was standing and then turns again to keep going while tears stream down her cheeks.
Cleaning them.
Yes, because she's very, very dusty. And muddy. Actually, it's muddy up there, presumably.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like an inverse war paint type thing.
Bolo, Tani, Ingo, what about you?
Yeah. So I want to understand where everybody else. So he never came up. He was down.
No, he was on the top of the cliff. He was on the
He's-
top of the cliff, but he was standing facing, like, right at the edge, basically.
Okay, so not now he's back where we
Now
started.
he's clearly fallen down to the bottom of the cliff after that situation. Yeah.
I'm going to, as I did, I think for the seamstress, way back when, I think it was her death. I can't remember the exact circumstances, but anyway, I'm going to, do one of my family customs and create a wreath out of available like grass.
Okay.
With flowers preferably, but if not, that's okay. And just fashion a circular wreath.
Flowers are going to be hard to come by here. But
I don't know
grass
if
is
there's
sure.
like mountain flowers or what was here. Whatever is there, I'm going to take. And then I'm just going to bring it and kind of toss it and spin it down towards him and just whisper a prayer.
As you watch Bolo and you sort of toss it down, the sort of zephyrs and little wind gusts sort of drift it down, and it does somewhat miraculously seem to land right on his body.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just say a quiet word and then step away.
Tani and Ingo, what about you?
Tony's standing back closer to where he was hiding, but he's watching Bolo, and when Bolo's done, he just sort of kind of puts his arm around him and starts walking over towards the river.
Okay. Ingo?
I guess Inge is like very much like in like, when like in a horrible stress situation, like you sometimes like click into like a mode where you like don't feel anything and just like try to like make the best of the situation.
Yeah.
Dissociate.
Yeah.
Like basically she's like very much like hyper alert right now and just like keeping her eyes on the surroundings and like basically looking like she like need to move.
Yep.
Hypervigilance. Yep.
Otherwise the whole all of this was for fucking nothing. So
as you make your way in that direction, Tani, you pass a few more, although some of them are now a little bit obscured by stone and from the wind of the dragon's wings, but you still see more of those paw print tracks. I don't know if you want to do anything about that, but I wanted to let you know you still see them.
Well, I mean, I can't clean them up.
No, it's right.
This place is filthy. Let's just hang on a second.
Well, the thing about it up here is that not just through the stones, it is kind of muddy and dirty here. So you all actually are leaving tracks.
I was just about to say
that,
No, Inga doesn't. She has a feet.
What? What do you hover?
Oh God, I have like a billion feet.
All right.
Like basically, she doesn't leave any tracks or something.
You've
All right,
got
well,
feet for not.
Yeah, while you figure out that
Oops, that's
not
the wrong
feet,
one.
as it were.
Yeah.
that is empty to me.
Oh,
It's
no,
a-
I see
when
that.
you-
That's the wrong one. No,
Well, you choose
trackless
the
steps.
archetype.
There it is.
Yeah. Sorry, trackless steps. Starting an
Trackless
level, you
steps.
you cease leaving any signs of your passage through the wilds. You can no
Oh,
longer. be
that's
tracked
what
by-
it is.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm going to come back to then. So go ahead, Tani, and I'll come back to you, Ing, on that.
I was just realized why I can't see it. I have dark mode enabled, so the text inside the window is invisible to me.
Oh, yeah, but I have dark mode. No, that's not it, Trent. I have dark mode, and I can see them.
But
I
if
have
I
dark mode
disable
enabled.
dark
like
mode,
dark
and
mode completely fucks up this interface for me too. Like specifically just
Huh,
for.
interesting. Okay,
Tetris
anyway,
or-
I don't know. Sorry.
That's not
You
working.
can cover the tracks of a number of your companions equal to your wisdom modifier. That's very cool.
Yeah, no, I believe you, Trent. I'm sure that's true.
I know. I just see there's the text, and if I engage dark mode,
Wow, it doesn't do that for me. Anyway, interesting.
That's
Okay.
Yes. Anyways, I also only wanted to sadly note that it is also 5.
Yeah, no, I know. I've seen that, and we will address that just a second.
in about an hour. Yeah.
No. But yeah, so just quickly, Tani / Inga. So Tani, you finish up what you were saying, because you do note that you're leaving tracks.
Yeah. His thing would be
Inga.
to try to figure out some way to mask them, either to have us walk within like the points where the individual pads of the paw prints meet,
right.
to try to disguise our steps and move in ways that our tracks blend with the tracks that are already there.
Right. Okay. So we can do. So you
Wait,
can.
Does anybody else have trackless step or just Inga?
No, just you. But I like
Ah,
your idea
shit.
that we're making like a turducken of steps. Like
Yeah.
we all just step into bigger steps until it only seems like.
You all walk like on top of each other's shoulders. One very
Yeah.
heavy person came this way.
Yeah, seriously.
So what I'll say to that, Inga, is that you can use trackless steps. It says, I think, to cover per equal to your wisdom modifier with a minimum of 1. What's your wisdom modifier? Do you have +2, or do you just have just 1 for your modifier?
Yeah, 2.
You have 2. So
Well,
you
I
can.
guess one could just like carry, like Inga could carry Bolo and Tony could carry
Don't.
Stone.
It's up to you.
Well, then
Or-
we still have one person who would need coverage.
No, but
Yeah.
you've got.
River can be carried by no boyfriend, I guess.
You can. You can.
Like
I mean, it
princess
doesn't
style.
matter if an orc is leaving tracks, right? Like orcs come
Right.
here.
Correct.
Those are going to blend in.
Correct.
So basically, since Tawny is the largest and the heaviest, he should be in the back, so that he just steps on everybody else's steps.
Okay.
There you go.
And
Reverse turducken.
So what I will have you do, Inga, I'm going to have, so Inga, you're going to cover those 2. Utkash, you all don't care about for reasons we talked about. River, if you carry stone, that's fine. Tani, then I need you to make a survival check for me. And the survival check may help
But you
sort
can
of
just carry
tie this
Bolo.
all together. Oh, you
But
mean
you can
because
carry
you're going to
Bolo.
cover you're
Like,
going to cover
Bolo's
Tani's
heavy.
tracks? Because you're going to cover Tani's tracks and then Tani would cover Bolo,
Yeah,
is
and
that what you
reverse,
mean?
and we have
Oh,
like
okay. You could do that too.
everybody's tracks are covered. Then
Yeah,
except
you could do that
for,
too if you want.
Oh gosh's.
I like this plan. I like
we
this
just
hilarious.
travel like
ridiculous plan.
sand people, single file, to hide our numbers.
Yeah.
That's fine. If you want to do that, that's fine. Okay, so assuming that you do that, trackless steps proving very useful here.
Yeah.
You make your way, and you realize as you go, because you see various portions of the dragon's destruction, that first of all, it would have been very bad, but also you've clearly entered his immediate hunting ground now, since you are this close. And as you get it, I said about a day's half travel, as you settle in for the night, and again, the next day is when you should arrive at the watchtower, down below in the gorge that you've almost now left behind it, like it's down below you and to the left as you've traveled, you can see watchfires beginning to spring up and campfires and so on. But in the middle of all of them, there is a very large bonfire, enormous, and it almost looks like it looks like more than just what you would have, like a fire that you would have for an event or something like that.
Burning Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Are they cooking
Burning orc.
dwarves?
Well, you can hear the sound of yells and laughter and things kind of echoing up from below. And Utgash sort of says, as he's looking over down, he kind of growls and sniffs the air, and he says, "They celebrate the worm. They feel that the worm has won. We shall see whether or not they are right." And with that image in everyone's mind, we will, as Amal has said, have to bring our session regretfully to a close. But tomorrow, the Watchtower. Not tomorrow physically, although I would love that. But tomorrow.
What?
No, I wish. No, tomorrow in game terms, the Watchtower. Good stuff, folks. I know some of this was us kind of getting restarted and back on the train, but I hope that people now feel they're a little more caught up on, where we actually are. And we had a big sacrifice as a part of it. And incidentally, in case I've been asked to mention this sometimes to chat, it should be noted, that's not a scripted thing. That only happens because A, the party rescues Elston, and B, because they bring them with him and they've made some kind of a connection with him that allows him to make the decision that he made. C, they could have been like, "The hell with you, old man," and they could have picked them up and just ran with them. I mean, they also could have done that if they wanted. But the party chose to act the way they did, and it gave them advantage on a check, which, had they failed it, I'm here to tell you, would have been very bad. But it's a dragon, and this is what happens in the circumstances when you're dealing with someone like that. But brave man, Lord Elston. I will start with Amal at the bottom of the column, or actually, I guess the bottom of the squares. There you go, Amal. You were wondering if there would be any feels here. Return to the feels.
What? I wasn't wondering that. I always take that for granted.
That's fair. There's always going to be feels. Good stuff today out of the river, though. And I do love, jokes aside about why is Utgash being made to be hot. I jokes aside, I do think it's been interesting to see that connection.
Joking.
And there was a little bit of the Elston Utgash thing that you found both of them interesting in different ways, obviously. And that was interesting to me to see how River was reacting to all of that. And of course, you had to make a pretty significant check to go up the side of a sheer cliff too. So there's also that. How did you feel about today's session, and where will the lovely folks find you next before you find us before our session here next month?
I'm just so happy to be back. I really, really missed this, and it was such a delight to have the whole crew back together and stuff. So even though it's on a Saturday and slightly curtailed, I just really, really love this. It makes me really happy, and it was a great session. And I was unsure. I was like, okay, we're getting back into things. We have 2 hours instead of 3. How much are we even going to get? And it was like a full complement of feels, regardless. And I feel so embarrassed that we literally forgot Elston was with us.
Yeah, that's my fault too, though.
But then he did the most memorable possible thing. It's like,
Well, because I was like, Elston would sacrifice. I'm like, wait, what the hell did they do with Elston? I'm like, they did rescue him. But then I was like, oh, yeah. So.
Yeah. But I also, we've had, you just, and the thing was, the rescue of him before was memorable. It was a big deal. And having him with us was a big deal. We were so shocked that he was still alive. I was fully prepared when we saw his shield when in the hall when it before we burnt it and stuff, that he was just, they had killed him, they'd done away with him, and that we weren't going to meet him. When we did, it was like, wait, what? This is incredible. We can save him. Hooray. And anyway, I'm feeling this very hard. And also to continue to connect Utgash and Elston, like I think that having now witnessed for the first time in her life like the like dragon fire that close up, because Raynar did not have fire the last time they met.
Right.
I think that River can only be like more sort of in awe of Utgash and the fact that he survived that somehow, having seen like a legendary shield and a legendary like warrior be just destroyed by obliterated by it. There's anyway, I think it's going to be like she'll be that much like kind of quieter and more like sort of astonished by Utgash.
Yeah,
To be clear,
quick note. I
River
just want
is
to.
not attracted to Utgash.
No, I know.
think that he's kind of hot.
No,
But,
I got
like,
it. I'm very clear. Quick note. I just wanted to say, by the way, I just finished teaching a portion of Lord of the Rings in my class, and so one of the big things that I focus on is the theme of defiance, of resistance, of defiance, about how critical it is not to give up the battle before it starts, and how evil expects that is what will happen. Sauron expects everyone will just lie down for him, and the fact that some don't, and actually defy him is so hugely important. So I have a soft spot in my heart, period, for characters that are defiant in this way. I mean, Boromir makes a lot of mistakes, but man, I mean, he kills a lot of orcs to save Merry and Pippin, in the midst of it. So anyway, sorry, on you go. I just wanted to make that note. I'm a fan of Elston's kind of thing.
Yeah. I thought that was amazing. Anyway, I thought it was amazing where people can find me next. I'm actually going to be doing an event on November 3rd remotely with Argo Bookshop in Montreal. I will dig up the details of it. I'm going to be, it's like a fireside chat situation with some other really fantastic authors, and we're going to talk about folklore. So if anybody here is interested, yeah, it'll be.
Wait, when? Where?
On the
Link?
internet. I am going to pull this up.
Oh my god, it's gonna be at a time where I'm asleep, right?
7 p.m. Eastern. From like 7 to 9 p.m. Here is the let's see, can I get the event alone without the
That
anyway,
sounds
it's
like 1 a.m. to me, I think.
Yeah.
it's the topmost event here. Waboing. And yeah, so that'll be the next thing that fire slide. Watch me go down a fire slide. No, that will be next time here on Adventures in Middle Earth. But no. Anyway, that is me. You can also find me on the internet at amalelmahtar.com, which is my website, where you can also sign up for my newsletter should you want. A fun thing that happened today is that I realized this book that I have a story in, The Jinn Falls in Love and Other Stories, is in this new shiny cool edition.
Yeah, that does look
very literary. So yeah, cool. Anyway, that's all. I was there and I saw it and it reminded me I should probably.
Very cool. Thank you, Mal. Always good stuff. Also, I should mention that Emily posted some pictures of this, that Greyshade is now in Baka Phoenix Books and in Toronto, and I am officially now in a Canadian bookstore, which made me feel very happy. So I wanted to mention that. Anyway, thank you, Mel. Good stuff as always. Moving right along. Let's see. I think typically I go to Tari next, or do I go to Brad next? I guess. It's been so long. I don't actually. Yeah, I go to Tari next. That's what I thought. It is Tari. Tari, good stuff today as well from Inga. You got a lot of that trackless steps thing. Actually, turned out is going to be quite useful, I think. And you've gotten a chance to do more of that rangery-ish type things. And also, of course, you're having to pick up on having missed a few extra sessions, so you're having to now pick up on what's going on with Utgash and how, what that's going to be. So it'll be interesting to see how kind of Inga plays that all out. And
I would
also,
not have known that you had trackless steps if I had been Jaegering your character.
Yeah, that was really useful.
I'm extremely glad you're back.
Yeah.
Besides your native charm.
Yeah, very seriously. It was very useful for that reason. And you got to see the situation with with Elston play out as well. And you were the one, of course, to first hear the dragon as well. So there was all that and it struck me that this is another example of you hanging on a wall. How many times has this happened in this campaign, Tari, where you've been hanging on a wall on a rope?
Probably less often than we meme about, but yes.
But still. How did you feel about today's session, and where will the fine folks find you next?
I'm just mainly glad that I'm back again.
Same.
And I'm keeping up
We missed
more or
you.
less. So yeah. Aw, I missed you guys too. So yeah. I mean, of course, relatively short round. It's gonna take a little while for me to get
of course,
back into it. But yes, I'm very much looking forward to next session. So hope we can make that work. So yeah. And aside from that, I don't really have anything upcoming. But so instead, I'm gonna plug a concert that my boyfriend's band is gonna play.
Nice.
For the one watcher who might be in the general vicinity of the Netherlands here. I'm just gonna throw a link in the chat for that, and that will be the Herbst Festival, literally fall festival, on Saturday, November 12th. And oh god, what is the name of the place again? It says here somewhere. In New Van Dyke. That's is that in Holland or is that in Brabant? I don't know. One of them.
I opened it up and it's all Dutch, anyway. But the third paragraph says epic folk, metal, punk, and then it goes back into Dutch again. I'm like, okay. It's just epic folk, metal, punk, and then it goes back to, it's very funny.
Yeah, I mean, music genres tend to all be named in English.
Yeah, that was funny.
So, but yeah, if anybody happens to be in the area, also folk from Belgium, maybe from Flanders, that's not far. That's right across the border.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't think we actually have any Dutchies here, but all Belgians. I don't know any English people who are on vacation. Happens. But yeah, so that's me.
Good stuff. Thank you, as always, Tari. A pleasure to have you back, and good to see you. Moving right on up the line, Brad. Also, good stuff from Bolo. I know that we had the shadow point that Bolo got, and you're right. And I think you had a very nice moment of the fact that your reaction, even though the stealth was epic, it's that's all oh yeah, I was gonna say effect life actually. Now that I think of it, Tari, effect life. But yeah, Bolo having that moment of, oh my God, it's a real dragon, except because it's in the context of you're in these blighted lands, it's this sucks. This is dreadful. And that moment with the wreath was really nice too. Something I wouldn't necessarily have expected from Bolo, but it makes sense because the trauma in a way, you were sort of suffering under the trauma, and here's Elston who didn't do that. And there's a moment, it almost felt to me like you were sort of reflecting that back to him. So it was really nice stuff. How did you feel about the session today? Where will the fine folks find you next?
Yeah, it was really good. I keep commenting on sort of this arc, as we're getting closer and closer, things are ramping up and stuff. And now a near encounter with the dragon we're about to hit. And so it really struck home for Bolo in this case, so it's neat to see his reckoning of story dragon versus reality,
reality dragon,
and how he's going to rise to the occasion or not, as things move on, and they get closer and that sort of thing. So that was fun to see and play out and stuff. And then Lord Elston's sacrifice was super powerful. That was a really one of the high points of the entire, not just this adventure, but the entire time I've been with the group. That was pretty awesome, and affecting. So yeah, really cool session in that respect, and it really sets us up again for the main encounter. The Raynar has been a concept, up to the other people in the group have met him before, but Bolo has not, so he's been conceptual, so seeing him actually in life was just a hugely powerful moment for Bolo. So that, really cool stuff. I don't have much coming up, so you can just check me on quillings.com, and that has my social network feeds, and otherwise I'll be looking forward to the next session.
Awesome. Thank you, Brad. Good stuff. Good to have you back as well. And last but certainly not least, Trent, I'm going to be seeing you again later today in a different context. But, Tawny, I thought that I wasn't sure how you were going to react with Elston. I didn't know if Tawny's reaction was going to be to feel like, oh, you're throwing away your life, old man. But instead, I think you read it in a very different way, which is the way Elston clearly intended it, which is that Elston's not like a foolhardy, I just run into battle for no reason. Like, you're on an open cliff, like an open plain. All of these people are here. He's like, and he is slowing everybody down, like, as he sees it. And so I thought it was interesting to see how Tawny's reaction to that, which was not to get pissed off, but to just sort of be like, and then that moment at the end to go up to the thing that kind of choked me up a little bit was you going over to help Bolo. Because I was like, damn, I didn't know if you were going to be like, I'm really broken up by this. And Tawny may well be. But the fact that Tawny was like, hey, Bolo, let me help you out, especially given where you both came from, where at the beginning there was this whole like, oh, Bolo, geez, like such a long way in terms of the way you feel about him comparatively. Dindy is so far in the rearview mirror now, Tawny, in your knowledge.
Thank the gods.
How did you feel about the session today, Trent? And I don't have to ask you where they'll see you next because it'll be a couple hours. But
Right.
how did you feel about today?
Before I get into that, Amal, I wanted to make sure that you saw what Rock God said in the Twitch chat.
Oh, yes, about Time War.
I did not see. Wait, sorry.
Rock God said, I'm usually not under in the day, but I wanted to let you know I loved This Is How You Lose the Time War. As you should, because it's great.
You.
And if I were teaching science fiction, I would have been teaching that again this semester if I was this semester, but I'm not.
Oh.
So,
Wait, you're not teaching this semester?
I am, but I'm not teaching science fiction. I ended up having another course. It'll be back next fall.
That's all good. But no, thank you also, Emily. I'm so happy that that you are registering, and Sienna is so awesome. And yes, yeah, great. Anyways, I'm just sorry, catching up on the chat, which I turned away from to catch up on my phone.
Okay.
Sorry.
So there were two things that came to mind for those the two halves of that scene. One was the idea that sometimes making a sacrifice worthwhile starts before the sacrifice is made. You realize that. I mean, Tawny wouldn't have said he's slowing everyone down, but like I said, he's known Elston for a while. He knows the kind of man he is, and for him, this would be a point of pride to sacrifice himself. It's something that Elston would consider worthy, and Tawny does too, because he knows Elston so well. And so it would be disrespectful to not allow him to make this sacrifice for the benefit of not only the rest of the party, but everybody that we are out here doing this for.
Yeah, exactly.
So that would be why, ultimately Tawny was like, okay. And
And Arudinel, what you say, Trent, Arudinel in chat is 100% right. Like, he doesn't want to die an old man in a nursing home in a rocking chair telling old stories. Let Bolo tell a story. And you're right, he does earn Utgash's respect. I mean, that's the thing. Like, for Utgash to be like, he died well, like, that's like saying, like, this guy, let me sing him with great praise. Like, that's as much as you're going to get from Utgash. So anyway, on you go, Trent.
What is the old saying that praise from one's enemy is the highest form?
Yeah. It reminds me a bit of Enemy Mine even, right? Like the sequence where you're like, oh. So anyway.
The other half, the way I kind of pictured it was at the end of spoilers. If you haven't seen, Avengers Endgame, too bad. Plug your ears. I'll give you a 3, 2, 1 when I'm done. In the end, when Cap is giving Sam the shield, or when they're walking over there, and Sam and Bucky are standing there, and Bucky's like, "Go ahead," and. Sam goes over and he winds up, taking the shield because he's the one that, same sort of thing. Tawny just kind of stands back and lets Bolo have this moment because he doesn't have as many of them as we do, and this is something that he needs to experience. And so when Bolo throws the wreath down and turns and starts to come back, Tawny is there to put his hand around his shoulder.
Stuff. Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. As you said, where are people going to see me? That's probably in a couple of hours. We're going to be playing some Erebor.
Song of the Sky as we move into the end of season 2 of that campaign. So, but I will see these folks again. For those who missed it, chat, because we had a decent turnout for a time that I don't usually stream on a Saturday. So thank you. You will see these folks again in this group next month. We're going to be doing another Saturday from 3 to 5. Then in
Time change
December,
will have happened by then.
that's right. There will be a time change. Oh, God, time zones. Anyway, time change. But yes. And then in December, we will
Oh
have.
God, yeah, I also have a time zone
Uh-huh.
change.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. And then in December, we're going to try to get in, if we can, chat 2 sessions, hopefully 1 or 2 of them a little longer, because I think Amal's job will allow that to be the case. So we'll be able to do that, I'm hoping. All right, see you, Echo. Sleep well. And then my hope is that we'll be able to do that. If that works out, then we'll be able to wrap this arc. Then as a group, we will decide collectively, do we put... I talked about this in them off air, but basically we'll decide what's happening next. So that's what's going to be happening. So you will see them here next month for a 3 to 5 p.m. session on one Saturday TBD. In fact, I'm going to put that up probably sometime tomorrow for the folks in this group to decide what they want to do.
When is the time change for you guys?
Us, it's
Next
next
month.
weekend. Yeah, but I think it's next weekend, isn't it?
Oh,
I
okay.
think
So
for
that makes it
US?
easy if it's just 1 week this time.
Yeah. So I think it's
Okay.
next week. So, but thank you, players, for being amazing. Chat, can we get some love for the amazing and awesome players of Adventures of Middle-earth? It's so good to have them back. Trent Sparks, Tari Toons, Brad Bollier, and Amal El-Matar. Thank you, everybody. I will see you players soon. Trent, I'll see you in a couple hours.
Yep.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Yeah, that was great. That was really great. I hoped it would be. I knew we were going to be in a bit of a rush, and 3 works usually better than 2, just sort of structurally. But we were able to get through it, and that was good. And yeah, I mean, look, it's Tolkien, it's a bunch of wonderful players, but I really was glad to see that people turned out for it. As I say, even on a Saturday. So I'm glad about that, and thank you. And you'll see more of it soon. And if you liked that and you're like, man, this is so great, I want some more D&D, I got you. You got some Adventures of Middle-earth, now you got some D&D coming up. So in 2 hours, just about, starting at around 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we will continue with Season 2 of Eberron, Oracle of War, as that campaign moves in towards the end of Season 2. With Song of the Sky. That campaign is ramped up seriously as well. They have not been off quite as long as AIME has, but they only were able to do 1 session this month. Next month, they'll be back to their usual 2 sessions. So we're getting back on the wagon today, as it were. So you should definitely stop by at 7:30 for the amazing Adventures in Middle-earth crew. So it's going to be awesome. Otherwise, it's weird to see my background in the daylight. Yeah, because I do stream on Tuesdays, but you're usually not here, as you say, for that. So yeah, it's very odd. And it's actually rapidly fading daylight. I'm going to fire up my lights here for the evening stream. But thank you all so much for being here. It really does matter. I appreciate it. I'm going to do my outro, and then I'm going to see you folks in a couple hours. We're not going to do a raid, because hopefully some of you all can just, stick around and chat, hang out, and then, go get some dinner or whatever, and come, depending on where you are in the world, lunch, dinner, breakfast, snack, something, and then come back in a couple hours for Eberron and spread the word. And I really, again, it was such a pleasure to see chat really, into it and interacting and connecting with each other. That makes a huge difference. So thank you all. And the more we can spread the word, we had a couple of new folks follow today and a bunch of resubs. So thank you all. It really does mean a lot to me and a lot to the players. And so let's keep that up and continue to do that as we go forward. I want to thank the wonderful chat for being here and doing awesome stuff. And yeah, Castle Wolfenstein, good stuff, Echo. Make sure you do that. Fighting the New Order. That is, and they should be fought, absolutely. If you like what you saw and heard, please, and I'm not going to go through this too much because you're going to see it again in an hour, but I'm just going to say, follow the channel, YouTube, Discord, Twitter. You know how to do all of those things. Support the shop with ! ARV shop, Patreon, ! ARV Treon. Don't forget to check out Icarus, Greyshade, and Tales and Tomes from the Forbidden Library, of course. Sub to the channel, please, if you can do that. And don't forget, as always, ! BLM, Black Lives Matter. Very important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. Oh, I'm glad about that too, Wayman Wolf. Hey, Wayman Wolf, I still need to hear from you, my friend, about the package, whether the package has arrived or whether you've done any more research. So don't forget, because I want to make sure you're not left waiting for this thing. I just want to make sure that did or didn't get there when you get a chance. Exclamation point BLM, exclamation point help now, World Health Organization page on suicide prevention, and exclamation point Ukraine to help define. Okay, that's cool. No problem. I just wanted to make sure I'm just making sure that I'm not forgetting about you is my point. So exclamation point Ukraine, Ukraine. Otherwise, I want to thank everyone who was here today. Thank you to Arudnell, Emily, Hillness, Rockgod, Tari Tunes, the best mods in the business. Thank you all so much. Thank you as well to Arudnell, Emily, Hillness, Rockgod, Tari, Effect Life, Echo, Wispy, Crit Twitch, Tren, and Waymond Wolf for all of the subs today. Thank you to the anonymous gifter for giving Arudnell a 6-month sub. So generous. Thank you. And as well, I want to mention, I'll be talking more about this next month, but remember, we have a Speculate fundraiser next month. And also, Emily is going to be, there is a Kickstarter for Athos, a Traveling Treasures Kickstarter, which is going to be talked about more. And when I say next month, I mean literally next week is when it actually launches, which is also next month. So definitely, we'll talk more about that in the week to come. You're just a VIP. Sorry, Echo. Yeah, you're not a sub, but you are a VIP. So that's very important. Thank you as well to Aniva, to Adeline, to, again, the anonymous gifter. Thank you to Average Gamer, Pitavar. Thank you to Crafty Irish, to Dragon Spear, of course, who's not a bot and is definitely a sub. Galadriel Bot, who is also clearly not a bot. Small Streamer, T-Bank, and Verdugoistat. Thank you all so much. I know, right, Crit? Well, 'tis the season, right? It gets dark pretty quick these days. So yeah, but it'll be light the next time you see me, as we'll have our lights up and ready for D&D. Thanks everybody for being here. It was really great. I appreciate it. And I'll see you folks in 2 hours for the next D&D session, D&D with Infinity and Beyond, Eberron, Oracle of War, Season 2. Oh my God. An anonymous user has gifted a 6-month gift tier 1 sub to Echo. Now you're a sub, Echo. Wow, thank you, anonymous gifter. That's really nice, man. We have the best. We have the best community. It really is good. Thank you so much. Oh, that's really cool. Thank you, anonymous gifter. And there you go, Rudnell. See, not Rudnell, Echo. I mean, there you go, Echo. Back in it to win it. You know who did it? Really? Well, don't say. If they want to be anonymous, they can stay anonymous. That's up to them. But thank you to them. And welcome back to the sub ranks, Echo. And good to see you all. I'll see you in a couple hours. Until then, everybody, please be good. And I will see you folks soon. Until then, it was not a ghost named Casper. It was Utgash. Everyone be good to each other. I'll talk soon.